You go, boy.
Hey, world. Welcome to episode 12 of The Sopranos. I'm joking. It's not episode 12 of The Sopranos. Solo Dolo. I promised you guys the best of the best, the biggest guests in the world of sports and everything. We got Michael Lombardi here. Give me some bombs. Give me some bombs. Give me some bombs. Wave to the people, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, we got talks for episode 12. I think the episode 12 was I Dream of Jeannie Cusimano, or was that 13? No, I think 12 was, I think 12 was I Dream of Jeannie Cusimano, or, what was the last episode that season? The one about, remember the Italian girl, the dentist that he has the dream on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Marvin's nodding too. Michael Lombardi is here. Episode 21 of the U-Goboy podcast. Let's go, baby.
Go, boy.
Yes. Marv, give me a couple drops. Give me a couple. Just give me a couple. This is historic. This is monumental. Oh, my goodness. We do drops on this show, Mike. We do a lot of drops. We even got Chris Tucker. He's here, too. Oh, man. It's your boy. You go, boy.
You go, boy.
Before we get to our illustrious guests, we've got the illustrious of illustrious here today. Good friend of mine, mentor of mine, colleague of mine, good friend of mine, friend of the show. But before we start, thank you to all the subscribers across all the platforms and followers. Give me a round of applause, please. We just hit 4,000 subscribers, and like I announced, like I announced on episode 20. TikTok and YouTube channel combined, we just crossed 1 million views. Yes. So again, I'm here because of you guys. Love you guys. I promise you the best of the best, and I have delivered once again. Just to pat myself on the shoulder. On today's episode, just get right to the intro. He's the host of the GM Shuffle, the Lombardi Line, the co-founder of the Daily Coach newsletter, author of 2 best-selling novels, a multiple Super Bowl champion. Give me some bombs. Give me some Yahtzees there. Yes. He is one of the most respected faces in sports media, NFL insider. My man, Michael Lombardi is here!
Thank you, Hugo. Thank you. And that episode was Isabella. That was the one with Isabella. I
You looked it up?
Yeah, because my dog's name is Isabella, but we call her Bella. Yeah, it's good to be here, my man. I didn't know you won the title. I see you won a couple championships since the last time I saw you.
Savage. Thank you. Yeah. I've been cleaning up. Man.
That's some nice belts.
Thank you.
They go through all your jeans, or you just wear them on the outside?
I bring them to parties, bat mitzvahs, quinceañeras, where I'm getting Chick-fil-A. I just bring the belt like, yo, let me get a 20-piece. You know what I mean? So yeah. But Bravery Studios, that's why I'm here. That's the home base. Shout out to Marv. Marv's on the board.
This is New Jersey?
This is Garfield, New Jersey. Lovely Garfield, New Jersey.
I know Garfield, yeah. I know
yes.
Garfield, yeah.
We gotta get you in studio at some point, man. You're in the South, right? You're in the South Jersey, right?
South, yeah. I mean, I might come up that way. I got to go to that Springsteen. They've got in Monmouth College. They've got his archives and stuff. So I got to make a trip up that way. I know that's only in Freehold, but I get there.
Nice. I know you're a huge Springsteen fan. You saw him in concert recently, didn't you?
I have not yet this tour. I saw him in Florence, Italy.
Nice.
I've seen him in America. But not this tour. I was in Las Vegas when he was touring the East. So he comes back the 16th and 18th of August for Philadelphia. He's going to play Citizens Bank Park. Hope to hit those 2 shows. I want to see him in the Meadowlands. So I like it when he says, he names the town and you're there, and, you've just seen the heart stop and earth shake and E Street Band. So, yeah, I'm going to go see him a bunch. I hope to. I like seeing him in Foxborough, too. So, I don't know. I got it all on my calendars, and we'll get to it.
Absolutely. Give a round of applause for Bruce Springsteen, the boss.
Yeah, I read a great book just about him too. And it was about his writing of the book The Nebraska by Warren Zanes. It was really a good book. How he wrote that book and went back to the house 40 years later where he wrote the album Nebraska, which nobody really understood, but it was kind of a turning point in his career. So it was good. So I haven't talked to you in forever. I mean, I don't think people realize they used to produce the GM Shuffle.
Yes. Well, my viewers do know that. I get street cred now because they know that I'm not lying. I didn't make it up. I mean, you're here to confirm it. But yes, yeah. I did produce the GM Shuffle when you were a part of Odyssey. You left Odyssey to I think you guys are sponsored by DraftKings now, I believe.
Yeah. Well, my main company that I was doing, even though when I was doing the pod, I was working for VSiN. And VSiN was acquired by DraftKings, so it kind of made sense for me to kind of put everything that I do under one umbrella, which has been great for me. I miss Adnan and I miss you, but, it's been good. We have Femi coming in. I'm trying to catch him up on The Sopranos. It's not been easy, I got to say.
Give me some savages there, man.
Savage. We'll get in there.
Oh man, yeah, I missed the band. For our viewers who don't know, the band was me, Mike, and Adnan. We looked like the brochure for like DeVry or like a college admissions, because we all different shades.
But politically correct, yeah. The old white guy, and then everybody else was politically correct, yeah.
Nah, man. So an Italian and Nigerian, and Adnan is, I'm guessing he's Asian, right?
No, I think Adnan is. I think he's Pakistan.
Pakistani.
So.
Okay, so
but I'm not sure.
So a Pakistani, a Nigerian, and an Italian walk into a bar. So it's straight.
You know what? It really don't matter. We're all the same, so it really don't matter.
Absolutely, like three sports fans. When I was producing the show, I loved producing it. That's one of my career highlights right there. But it was like a gift and a curse because I love sports. I love talking shop. I wanted to jump in on so many conversations and just be like, you know what, guys? This is what, something, brother? This is what I think about this.
Take it over, man. Fire away, Take it away.
This one of the big reasons why I started the U-Goboy podcast. Can I get a U-Goboy? Oh, please. Absolutely.
U-Goboy.
And by the way, grab some merch. Mike, I'm going to send you some merch for sure. Grab some merch.
I like it.
Thank you.
Man, I wish I'd get some merch on the GM on my pod. I've never been able to do that. You see, you just lap me. I mean, I'm like Uncle Junior. I'm so far back in the race, I actually think I'm in the lead.
Oh, man, not Uncle June. Oh, my God. Shout out to The Sopranos one more time. Give a round of applause to The Sopranos, man. Love that show. I mean, I've rewatched it like 3 times. I just finished my 3rd rewatch. I know you're like on rewatch 12 or 15. But
I like rewatch 50. I go back and watch, like I'll watch my son's college roommate, Corey, who lives up in East Rutherford. He got me on this, watch the first episode and the last episode of the season and then do that. And so I kind of go through, and then if something jars my memory and I want to remember a line, I'll go back and watch it. But I don't think it's a time where it's so good that I can't not watch it. It is aged really well. I think that's what really good writing's all about. I think it ages well. And, it's funny, like, great songs, when you listen to a great song that you can put on repeat, whether it's a rap song, whether it's Springsteen, whatever it is, right? You put it on repeat. You don't mind listening to it. And there's only a few movies or shows that you want to rewatch constantly, and that this show has kind of grown, and it's because of the writing. I think it's a lot of it is because of the characters being so interesting.
Absolutely. Yes.
Like, I got to tell you, I don't know if you're watching this, and I don't want to conduct the interview. You should. But, I was watching, like, I watched Succession with my wife, and, like, I just want to, like, I want the show to end. I hate every character in the goddamn thing.
That's the point, though. That's the point. I think that's what they're going for. If this was like in terms of wrestling, the heel is the bad guy, the baby face is the good guy.
There are the good guys in that show.
No,
I can't. The only guy that I can warm up to is Tom, because he's so overtly narcissistic and he's so out for himself that everybody else tries to camouflage a little bit. He doesn't. I'm just here to serve. Fuck, you ain't serving nobody. You serving yourself.
Oh Oh my God! Can I get a couple savages for that, please, please? Oh my God! Listen, the show's wrapping up. I think they're about 2 or 3 episodes away, but it's just
I'm not caught up on the season.
Yeah.
I mean, I was when I got home from Vegas, I started to watch the season again. I think I'm on episode 6, so. Like, I'm at the point where, like, just get this fucking thing over with. I hate all these people. Like, I can't stand them. Like, if any of them died, I wouldn't shed a tear. Like, it's like, you know, when Puss died, I was upset. And then, you know, I wasn't upset when Richie Aprile died, or Ralph. But, like, you know, I was upset when Bobby died. You know, like, there's certain people that died.
Oh, my God.
These people, just get them all out of the way, please.
Rest in peace, Bobby Bacala, man. Can I get an awe? Something dramatic awe or something like that? But oh man, like the video, subscribe to the channel. There we go. Again, this is a monumental moment. We could talk about Sopranos and Succession to the cows come home, or Boardwalk Empire. We're both HBO Max junkies and movie junkies and mob junkies. But we got rapid fire at the end. You're gonna love that. I always tailor the last part with questions for the guest, and I always tailor it around interests and their career and hobbies and so forth. So we got a lot of Sopranos and good stuff at the end. So be patient. Be patient. Work with me, Paisan. All right. Real quick, Mike. So you were in the front office for a minute. Like, we're talking Bill Belichick, Bill Belichick in Cleveland days. Like, you were with him in Cleveland, right?
Yeah. Started in Cleveland in '91 with him. I was in Cleveland before he got there. I went to Cleveland in '87. He came in '91.
So you've seen it all. You've seen it all, man. And you know, I was watching the HBO documentary they did with Belichick and Nick Saban, the 2 coaches, which was amazing. It was awesome work right there. And I think there was a couple shots of you. You know, you had the glasses on, the slick back hair. I don't know if they had your iRock Z30 or something in the background, but you were posted up in that. And I saw you in there a couple times. I'm just like, yo, Mike's been at this for a minute. And so my question to you is, when you made that transition from GM to Sports Insider, you're one of the most can I get another round of applause? I mean, this is kind of crazy right here. You're one of the most recognizable faces in sports media. When you made the transition from GM to the sports media world, did you seek out to be, listen, I'm going to be the best, or you're just like, you know what, this is just a continuation of ball. I'll be able to talk ball, and whatever happens. Take me through that transition.
I think it was just I wanted to talk football, and you know, when I wrote Gridiron Genius, it kind of was liberating for me. It gave me a lot of personal freedom. So I didn't really care about, you know, I just said what I thought. I wasn't trying to be a media guy that was just going to sit on the fence, you know, and say, you know, I kind of give my opinion. Either you agree with it or you don't. It's fine with me. It's my opinion. You can have yours, and that doesn't make me right and you wrong, or me wrong and you right. It's just an opinion. I come from the experience of football. I learned a lot from working for Coach Walsh and Belichick and Al Davis and some of the great coaches that I've worked with. So for me, it was just like, I'm just being honest. Like, I don't have anything that I'm trying to hide or am I protecting. I do have 2 sons that work in the NFL, and you know, I don't say anything about their team in terms of any secrets that I know, but if they're not playing good, I'm going to say it. Just like last year when the Patriots weren't playing good, I said it. Because I think because anything I would say on the air, I would say to Bill, or I would say to my sons, or say to my friends in the league. So, look, I think that we don't have enough honesty within the media. Everybody's couching and protecting for somebody else. There's always an agenda. And I just never thought that agenda was, because I didn't play the political game in the NFL, I think that agenda, I never saw it when I worked. It never worked out for me. And I just came in the league and just started talking about football the way I saw it.
Oh, 2 Dom DeMarcos for that. We got Michael Lombardi in the building. This is illustrious. You perfectly teed up my next question. You know my background at Penn State, the great Penn State. Can I get a round of applause for Penn State University? Love my school. So I have a degree in sports journalism. It's the reason why I got the job on GM Shuffle to begin with. And I studied. I have a degree in it. I have a background in it. I've got a career out of it. I understand the difference between sports journalism and sports entertainment. You know what I mean? These hot take shows, the debate shows, and the shows on Fox and ESPN and so forth and so on. I know the difference. You know the difference as well, which is why we're having this conversation. The average fan does not know the difference between sports entertainment and sports journalism, the hot take world versus the people that are actually informed. Do you feel like that is a detriment to the overall presentation of and dissemination of sports, or do you think that this is just what it is? Like, what's your take on sports journalism versus hot take world and sports entertainment?
I think as media people, we have a job to educate the fans, and fans sometimes you can't educate them because, like, if you say something bad about their team, they get upset about it. But what you want to try to get them to do is become engaged in your story. You want to tell your story to them that they want to listen to, even if they don't like what they're hearing. And I think we placate to, a lot of media placate to Twitter or placate to Instagram to try to create followers when you're really not creating any followers. You're just basically, you're not educating. And to me, knowledge is the only form of currency you have in this world today. And if you're knowledgeable, people will listen, whether you're Hubie Brown at 87 years old still doing NBA games, because he's knowledgeable. And people learn from him. So I think that's part of, to me, what is most important. Barkley's willingness to say what he thinks is refreshing. I mean, he's an outlier. Nobody wants to do that, and his popularity has grown. I mean, he's probably more popular now than he played for the 76ers. It's just because he's willing to talk. He's willing to say that what he thinks. And if he offended Kevin Durant, then he offends Kevin Durant. If he offends Michael Jordan, he offended him. We have too much of this brother thing going on in sports. And the fans are the ones who are cheated.
Absolutely. Let me get 5 Ric Flairs for that, man. Oh, my God. I love that take. I met Rick, by the way. I always tell people that he's a very, very nice man. Very nice man. I can't explain that to people enough. And within the first 2 minutes when I'm talking ball or talking shop, like on my way to a flight or at an event or just out in the public, in line at Rita's, in line at Chick-fil-A, and I'm talking ball, I'll know within the first 30 seconds if this is a hot take person that just saw it on ESPN or they're just reciting something Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith told them, or if they actually know ball. They actually follow and know the sport or whatnot. And I'm sure the same happens to you.
I mean, most of the time I don't really listen because I think most of the people, I don't watch the Worldwide Leader. I never do. I see some of it on Twitter, which makes Dan O says that Dan Orlovsky says that Joe Montana's not a top 5 quarterback. I mean, I'm not going to pay attention to that guy ever again. Seriously. Like, why would I listen to him? So it's just like, it's that kind of stuff. And I get why they do it, right? I get they want clicks,
Yes.
And I respect Stephen A. I mean, I didn't know, he's got an opinion. He backs it up. He's very good on television. I listen to him on Instagram say some stuff. But when I listen to him try to break down a sport, like, it's just, to me, and we're talking about football.
Yeah,
we're talking about
just ball.
The Saturday game in football is way below the Sunday game. And most of the people that talk about football don't even understand the Saturday game. The Sunday game is really hard to understand. And most people in the league, when they listen to commentary, when they listen to guys do games, they don't know what they're talking about. And that cheats the fans because the fans don't understand. And then the narrative that comes out after the games, which is typically wrong. It's never really the right narrative. It's constantly always wrong. And for me, I'm not trying to be a snob about it. I just am like, no, that's not for me. So I don't consume that information.
No, talk your talk, Mike, as always. Give me 3 more Ric Flairs for that. Like, I just love people that can understand the difference. It's just, it's refreshing. There's not enough of that. So let's keep it moving. So can I get a how about them Cowboys? We got to get this out the way early. Mike and Adnan, they put up with it. They understand my love and affinity for the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, the 5-time Super Bowl champions. Got to say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest. I have fun on the show, but at the same time, I'm very brutally honest on the show. Like I can send you clips, Mike, for days. It's not just the Cowboy love fest on here. When the Cowboys suck, I'm the first person to let people know this is why they suck. Though it's not just me just riffing on here. But my question to you is, if Jerry and Steven hired you tomorrow, and be like, listen. They already have a GM in place, Will McClay, who I always give his love on this show anyway.
Really good.
Who's really good at his job. Round of applause real quick for Will McClay, as always. But if Jerry and Steven hired you tomorrow and say, Mike, you know what? It's been 20 plus years. We want to end this drought once and for all. How would you end the drought, the title drought, in Dallas right now with the way the Cowboys are currently structured?
I would simply say, Jerry, you have to make a decision that either you want to be the spokesman and the voice of the Cowboys, or you want to win, because you can't do both.
Ooh, give me a Savage. Please, give me a Savage.
You can't do both. And you have to take a back. You got to let the head coach be the voice. I'm not saying you can't be the voice come January or February or after they win, but you got to make a decision. It doesn't work with you being the front guy, with you being in charge of everything. It just doesn't work. It's not how teams win. There's no owner that can do that. Al Davis couldn't do it, because the players believe they don't work for the coach. They believe they work for you, which essentially they do, but there has to be some way to where that comes into play. So once he said, I can't do that, then you're just going to continue down this same path of never winning.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they have a talented team, but they don't have a team that is, when it comes to the most important games, that they're ready to play those.
Yes. Oh, just Svax over here. Give me 3 Ric Flairs again. Just dropping nothing but gems on here.
For example, you take, they kept Kellen Moore because Jerry wanted to keep him.
Joystick. You called him Joystick, right?
Joystick, yeah.
Savage, please.
Savage.
Because he's playing Madden in his basement. I mean, and all you Cowboy fans got upset because McCarthy came out and said, he's going to call the game and he's going to run the ball. And if all the analytical people started putting up stats, well, you can't run the ball. Everybody in the league knows running the ball isn't how you score points. We all understand that, right? But running the ball controls the pace of the game. Running the ball controls how much defense you play. Running the ball controls the tempo. You can have control of the game. And when you're throwing 3 passes and punting or not ever doing that or slowing the game down to help your defense, you're not doing the 3 things. Football is a game of 3 elements must work together. There was an aircraft built by the United States government for the Vietnam War. It was called the F-105. And the F-105 was built because they built it with the idea that it could fly the farthest, it could fly the fastest, and it could carry heavy bombs. The problem was, like the Cowboys, it couldn't do all 3 things at the same time. Okay? So when it went fast, it was great, but it couldn't drop a bomb. When it went far, it couldn't drop a bomb, or it couldn't fly fast. Football's the F-105. You got to offense, defense, and the kicking game all have to work together. And if they don't, if those 3 things aren't in unison, it's really hard to win. You got to have Patrick Mahomes, and you got to be able to overcome some things. It's hard to do.
Nothing but 5 more Ric Flairs. This is sponsored by Ric Flair. Love it, Mike. Love it, Mike. Like the video, subscribe to the channel as always. We're here, episode 21, U-Goboy podcast, live from Bravery Studios. We got Marvin on the boards. We got Michael Lombardi here. Keeping with so let's talk. Let's get some draft talk real quick. Listen. I watch you on everything. I watch you on especially on Pat McAfee. Shout out to Pat McAfee. Give me a Ric Flair for Pat McAfee.
Great Pat McAfee, man. Now you're gonna get Father of the Year. And all these Entertainer of the Year, you're gonna get Father of the Year.
Yeah, and I know he's about to leave the current deal he's on now. I heard ESPN wants to gobble him up and give him an ungodly amount of money to move his enterprise over there. So he's killing it. He's killing it. He's goals right there. I love Pat.
Yeah, I mean, he does a wonderful job. I'm thankful that he has me on his show. I appreciate him a lot. But I think he speaks from, I think his humbleness, His authenticity sells with people.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
good guests on, and he asks really good questions, and he's trying to educate people. So I think that's really good.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. He's a big inspirer for this show and everything that I do. So, and he calls you Paisan on there. It always cracks me up. He even has it in the graphics. Certified
He started
Paisan.
calling that the first time I was on. It's great. I love it. But I mean, look, here's a kid from Plum, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
He's a punter. He goes down to a tryout camp in Florida just to get a scholarship. He was going to go to Kent State, and West Virginia offers him late, and now he's a media mogul. I mean, ESPN needs him.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
authentic.
absolutely.
He's authentic. It's like I tell people all the time, Sinatra wasn't Sinatra when he wore a leisure suit.
No.
Sinatra's only Sinatra when he's in a tuxedo.
Yes. No, that's a great point. That's a great point. I listen to a lot of your draft takes, and I sprinkled a couple of them on my show as well, especially episode 20, the Super Draft Show. Shout out to Mongo real quick. Give me a Dom DeMarco from my man Mongo. He's a Jet fan. He's super bummed he can't be here. When I do sports talk with Mongo, he's right next to me, bearded, handsome man from New Jersey, Jet fan. But we had a lot of takes about the draft. You had a lot of takes about the draft. One of my biggest ones is about this, the love affair, what they do with the quarterbacks every year. And I definitely wanted to ask you about that. That term generational. I know that you probably hate that word as much as I do. And they do this every year. They did it with Anthony Richardson. They did it with Will Levis, which is hilarious. I dropped the pipe bomb on that because, again, I went to Penn State. That guy couldn't beat out Sean Clifford. So how are you going to tell me he's generational? If you can't beat out a fifth-round pick who really should have been undrafted based on his tape, if you can't beat him out, how are you generational? How does that happen? So my question is, in terms of the quarterbacks, who excites you? Who excites you? I think Bryce Young, you mentioned he excited you, but who excites you?
Who excited me was Bryce Young. I mean, I think they all have flaws in them. I think we've overvaluated them. I think we've overgraded them. I think they're not really ready for prime time. I think Bryce Young is. I think he's got that it factor. I wrote about this for the Daily Coach, and it applied to Bryce Young. When Bill Russell was turning 86, his wife didn't know what to get him for his birthday. So she bought him a video of his NC2A college championship game against LaSalle. I think it was 56. And so they put this tape up on their big screen at home, and they started watching it. And from the first play of the game until the last, Russell knew everything that went on in the game. Like he was 21 years old again. And that's because he has this thing that great players have, is a memory of the game, right? You ask Jordan about any game, he'll tell you what happened, not what you saw, but what he saw that nobody else saw.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the Marcus Aurelius quote. The secret to all victory lies in the organization of the non-obvious. These players can see the non-obvious.
Facts there.
So Bryce Young has that. The other ones don't. I mean, I kept saying the same thing you said about Levis. Like, you tell me, Penn State's a really good team.
Yes.
If Will Levis is as great as everybody thinks he is, they would have won a national championship.
Exactly. That was my.
They had enough talent on that team to win. They had enough talent on that team to win as much as anybody. I mean, so like, I just think, to me, it's a little bit of look. We all need quarterback. Every team needs a quarterback. There's no doubt. But here's the problem. When you draft a quarterback and you still need one, that doesn't really help you.
Give me a savage for that. Oh, my God.
Savage. Mel's sitting there talking about how great Levis is. And nobody's gone back and graded Mel's quarterbacks, about how he graded them, And Mel was, and I mean, look, Mel's done a tremendous job of his career, but he's never been in a draft room in his life.
No.
So he's never had to put any of his opinions. They just keep going. I mean, the ESPN thinks he belongs in the Hall of Fame. For what? I mean, he wasn't the first guy that did the mock draft. I mean, in my new book, I write about mock drafts that started before Mel was even born, and the Mancuso brothers in Westchester, New York, and the drugstore list with Jerry Jones, a pharmacist from Cincinnati, Joel Bushbaum. I mean, this guy, Joel Bushbaum, was the best of the best. So, to me, it's constantly this, they're right, and they push that narrative out there. And, and if you don't buy the narrative, then, you're wrong. I mean, I think, that they're controlling who wins the MVP. I mean,
agreed. 100%. 100%.
The MVP of the league.
It's a popularity award.
It beats the MVP over Jokic, and you were the GM of the Nuggets, and I'm the GM of the Sixers, and I call you on the phone and I say, I'll trade you Jokic for Embiid, what are you saying?
I'm probably laughing. I'm starting out laughing.
Now, everybody here in Philadelphia would say that, no, we would never do that. But if you just strip away the fandom and ask yourself that question, who would you rather have?
I'd take Jokic. Easily. I'd take Joker.
I would take the Joker too.
I'd take Joker.
I'm not saying Embiid's not a good player.
Right.
But I would take the Joker. I mean, to me, now that makes you the MVP.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed.
I mean, now, if Jokic's team didn't win or it wasn't the number one seed, just because he got it 2 years in a row, here's all you need to know. Nolan Ryan never won the Cy Young.
No, he did not. A lot of people don't know that.
A lot of people don't know that. That's how political these votings are.
True.
Which then reflects how really, when you say he's the MVP, is he really? Is that real? It's like when you say somebody's in the Hall of Fame. Is that real? Sterling Sharp's not in the Hall of Fame. Every 6.5 times Sterling touched the football, he scored a touchdown. But yet he can't get in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it's true. It's true. I remember, so for like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is amazing. I remember at Penn State, my senior year, I believe, my fourth or my fifth year, for my sports writing class, we had Jason Stark, and I'm friends with his son, Steve Stark, who was actually a student at Penn State. And so Jason came in and he spoke with our class, and then eventually he spoke with everybody in the College of Communications for a forum session. But he spoke with my class. It was like probably 12 or 15 of us. And I asked him flat out about the Hall of Fame, because he's a writer. He has a vote every year of who gets in and who gets out. I asked him about the steroids guys. I didn't care. I was like, I got to know, because this is probably the first actual baseball writer I'm meeting, and I'm in college. I need to know, what is the criteria? Do you think Bonds should get in? Do you think Clemens should get in? Do you think these quote-unquote steroid guys, should they get in? Do they get the asterisk? What's going on? And he flat out told me, he's like, it's an interesting dialogue. He gave me the most political answer ever. Like, I was like, he was running for office, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, is it that bad? So,
I mean, look. I mean, if he's not allowed to go in the Hall of Fame because you think he had steroids, then how was he allowed to hit 763 home runs?
Thank you, Dom DeMarco. Please, it's that easy. It's that easy, really.
It's not complicated, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you're not going to let him in the Hall, then take away all his records. Because what good are his records if if you're not going to let him in the Hall? So, but the Hall of Fame is with this new book that I wrote, Football Done Right, is really about the Hall of Fame. It's about how the Hall of Fame should have wings to it, right? So Deion made a comment 6 months ago about how his Hall of Fame jacket is different than everybody else's. It's true. Like, Deion is a different player than a lot. So we don't have wings to them. Just because you get in the Hall doesn't mean you're really the best of the best. You got in politically. I mean, John Lynch got in the Hall of Fame. He wasn't the best defensive player in the secondary.
No. Darren Woodson had a better career than John Lynch, but easily. And I'm not just saying it as a Cowboy homer. I'm just talking pure stats. Darren Woodson was on a dynasty, and that's always held against him. It's still being held against Emmitt Smith. Oh, he's not the greatest running back of all time.
Well, it's all political. It's all political.
Yes. Agreed. So I'm with you on that.
And that's what I try to write about why it shouldn't be political. It should be based on a criteria. Like, for example, Marty Schottenheimer is one of 9 human beings on planet Earth out of 515 men that have called themselves head football coaches. Okay? He's one of 9 that have won 200 games. Regular season games, he's won 200. 9 out of 515. That's a Hall of Fame worthy. Now, well, he didn't go to the Hall. He didn't win a Super Bowl. Well, George Allen didn't win a Super Bowl either. He lost 14-7. The only points he got in the game was Yaro Yepremian messed up the kick and they scored a touchdown. So like he had 70% winning percent. Yeah, but he didn't coach that long. Like, everybody has an excuse for why their guy. Terrell Davis is in the Hall of Fame. He only played 6 years, but Sterling Sharp can't get in the Hall of Fame because he only played 7 years. Like, what's the standard? What is the standard? You win 200 games. You're one of 9 human beings on planet Earth. You should walk in. You should go in. It's a hard thing to do. But people that are voting for it don't understand how hard it is to win a game. Should Marty have won a Super Bowl? Probably, yeah. Does he feel less of it? I mean, yeah. Barkley didn't win a title. Does that make him less of a great player?
Agreed.
I mean, Warren Moon's in the Hall of Fame. He never went to a conference championship game.
Savage, please. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's definitely political. It's definitely political. You know, I put those dots together before I even got to college and before I even fell in love with sports. So it 100% is. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We've got Michael Lombardi here on episode 21 of the U-Goboy podcast, live from Bravery Studios in Garfield, New Jersey. That's a reset, kids, for those who don't know. So, Mike, I got to ask this question. How do you view the two conferences, the AFC and the NFC? Let's start with the NFC. Let's start with that one. I think it's a 3-team race. I think it's still Philadelphia. They had a great draft. They lost a lot in the offseason. They lost about 7 starters. They lost 3 coaches, both coordinators. But they had a great draft haul. I love what Harry Roseman does. So yes, they are absolutely they should still be, on paper, should still be the team to beat. San Francisco still loaded, although I'm not in love with their quarterback situation, and a lot of people are. That's just me. And I think as a homer, I gotta say, can I get a how about them Cowboys? I still think the Cowboys are in the conversation, especially with their offseason. I think they have had a really solid offseason and a solid draft as well. I think it's a 3-team race in the NFC. Do you see it that way as well, or do you see another team that can hop in there? How do you see the NFC shaking out right now, currently?
Well, I mean, you know, we're getting Detroit for the opening game of the season against Kansas City. We're going to find out how real Detroit is. I think, to me, it's San Francisco, Philly, and Dallas. A lot of it's going to come down to the health, right? A lot of it is the quarterbacking, right? So Brady's no longer in Tampa. Is Derek Carr going to be able to make New Orleans a better team? We shall see, right? When you look at, what other quarterbacks in the NFC, I think Bryce Young's going to make Carolina a good team. So, to me, the NFC's void of quarterbacks. When Jared Goff's in the top 5 quarterbacks in the league in the NFC, and he played really well.
He did. I'm sorry.
But, Matthew Stafford can't stay healthy. They just gave Matthew Stafford $59 million. He's not going to stay on the field this year.
No.
San Francisco's quarterback situation is difficult. Geno Smith's in the top 5. Geno Smith played as good as anybody. So the NFC, to me, I think Seattle's closed the gap a little bit. I don't know if they've closed it enough. But they're the only 2 teams I see in the West. In the North, maybe it's Detroit. I think it's hard to go from good to great. I know you're in Garfield, New Jersey, and I know there's a lot of Giant fans around. But look, today they posted the line today for the Christmas Day game this year. The Giants going to Philadelphia. It's 7.5 points. If you're a playoff team and you're a legitimate team, 7.5 is a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
I know you're on the road, but you would still be a 4-point underdog if you're playing at home.
Minimum.
So I don't see the Giants as closing the gap. Again, Daniel Jones, what's he going to do? Averaged 6.9 yards per attempt last year. That ain't good enough to get it done. So to me, I agree with that. I think it's a 3-team. And San Francisco's quarterbacking situation, I think Sam Darnold will end up playing quarterback for him. I think Purdy, at least in the month of September, I don't see Trey Lance being that guy. I think the team knows Trey Lance isn't good enough.
Agreed. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, you can't, and I know Kyle Shanahan has to say the politically correct thing. He came out and said, we've got 3 franchise quarterbacks. Yeah, I know you have to say that, but to a guy like Michael Lombardi, to a guy like U-Goboy, I like to talk to myself in the third person. Like, come on. Like, I know you have to say that, but come on, bro.
Oh, you don't have to say it. Nobody's going to. What happens when you say it, you lose credibility. It's like Robert Saleh saying. It's like Robert Saleh saying that, we're not signing Randall Cobb because Aaron Rodgers wants him. We're signing because we want him. Really, Robert? Like, who you taking off the field? Who you taking off the field to put Cobb on? Right? Like, who are you taking off the field to put Randall Cobb on? You taking Wilson off the field? You taking Lazard off the field? You already took Corey Davis off the field.
Yeah.
You got him on the roster at $10 million. How are you going to pay him $10 million to be the 5th receiver?
That's a good question.
Right? So, don't tell me you're signing. Hey, all you got to do is be honest with people and say, look, we're going to bring guys in that Aaron's comfortable with. We owe it to him. What's wrong with it? Just say it. Embrace it. Like, hey, we're going to bring in guys that Aaron's comfortable with, and we'll see how it goes. There's a guarantee they're going to make the team? No, but we got to make sure he's comfortable within the offense.
Absolutely.
What's wrong with that answer?
There's nothing wrong with that answer. Listen, you don't got to convince me. All right. Like, we're just a couple Jersey guys who get it. You know what I mean? But it's everybody else.
Man. Don't insult my intelligence. Like, yeah, we're signing Randall Cobb because we want him. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, Robert. Yeah, you want him. Who you think, like, seriously. Poor Denzel Mims is sitting over there, second-round pick. He can't get on the field. You sign it. Like, come on, man. Like, give me a break. So you cut Barrios to sign Cobb. I mean, you tell me Barrios isn't better than Cobb?
And you traded away Elijah McCoy to Cleveland, I believe. You tell me he's not better?
Elijah Moore.
Yeah, Moore. My bad. You tell me Moore isn't better than Cobb right now?
Of course he is.
Oh, my God. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Michael Lombardi always chooses violence. That's how you know he's from Jersey.
Nazi.
I love it. Let's keep it going here. Now let's go over to AFC. We got to talk about the quarterbacks. Let's start with the quarterbacks. You mentioned Mahomes. He deserves his own tier. It's Mahomes' world. We're all living in it. I say Josh Allen is the third best quarterback in the AFC. I said that on this show. Can I get 2 Dom DeMarcos for that? I said that on the show, and I mean it. He's the third best quarterback in the AFC. He's not better than he's not better than Patrick Mahomes, and he's not better than Joe Burrow. I watched Joe Burrow run circles around him in Buffalo, in the snow, in the playoffs last year. You can't sit there and tell me just because he's got generational talent, and he's got the biggest arm since John Elway, and he's the best quarterback since Jim Kelly. Name me another Buffalo quarterback after Jim Kelly that's worth his weight in gold. You see what I'm saying? They crowned Josh Allen. I had to get this off. They crowned Josh Allen it's him and Mahomes, and then everybody else. Like Joe Burrow just forgot how to play football. So it's the three of them. Tell me how the AFC is looking right now. I'm sorry I got hyped, but
That's right. I mean, I don't know. Like, look, the Aaron Rodgers is pretty damn good too. Like, we sure Buffalo's better than the Jets? I mean, the Jets are better than him on defense.
Ooh, I like that.
I mean, look, I think Josh Allen's a really good player. And I think, to me, when they run their six-back offense, when he's the lead runner, they're a better team. But they can't do that. He's going to get hurt.
Yes.
Drafting Dalton Kincaid gives them a chance to line up a bigger guy in the slot. They'll be in 12 personnel. Maybe they can run some power runs, because that's what happened to them against Cincinnati. They couldn't run the ball.
Agreed.
I think Josh needs some help literally around him. I know Stephon Diggs is good. Gabe Davis is good, but that offensive line kind of, they get away with a lot of things because of his size and his power. Hard to tackle that big guy.
He's a big guy.
You got Herbert, who's a really good player at the Chargers. If they ever got, if the coach didn't go for it on 4th and inches at his own 5-yard line, I mean,
2 savages, please.
Might help. And then, when you look at it, you got Lamar's back now in Baltimore. Pittsburgh with Tomlin's always a good team. You may not love Kenny Pickett and think he's the answer, but again, it's a 3-dimensional game: offense, defense, kicking game. And Deshaun Watson couldn't have played any worse than he played last year, right?
Oh my God,
You're not even having him in a conversation because he played so poorly. But if he goes back to being a 70% completion thrower, cutting down, and averaging almost 8.5 per attempt, the Browns. I think the Browns will be a really good sleeper team because I think they'll be better defensively. Mm-hmm. So you got them, and I mean that's a really good division. Cincinnati in there, and then then we got Jacksonville, who looks like the best team. Whether the rookie quarterbacks in Tennessee or Anthony Richardson can come on, I don't know. Houston with Stroud. So the AFC's loaded, and it's a hard thing. It's going to come down to, which team stays healthy and which teams can work 3-dimensionally.
Agreed. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is epic. This is so spot on. We still have time for a few more topics before we get to rapid fire. We're here with Michael Lombardi. So I've watched you talk about the draft. Can we talk about two topics? We've got to hit this for sure. In terms of free agency and the draft, as in a vacuum, and the all-in strategy, because you cut a couple of lovely promos, by the way, on the Rams F them picks, that whole thing that's going on. I mean, how'd that work out last year? The fine line of understanding how to navigate free agency and the all-in strategy. Can you please walk our viewers through what exactly that means currently with the way
I think
the
a lot
NFL
of it comes from the owner, right? And a lot of it is situational. So I think the Rams moving into a new stadium, having to pay for a new stadium, trying to become the king of LA. That owner felt like, look, we got to do something to win these people were going to the beach, get them to come to the stadium. I think the same thing with Tampa. They got Brady and they went all in. The same thing we saw that with Jacksonville the year Jacksonville, they spent the most money of any team in the league. The year Blake Bortles, had a chance to throw a 7 route against New England and he underthrew it by 2 yards, or else they might beat New England.
True.
So it happens a lot, right? And this year we've seen it with the Jets. The owner gets impatient.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Ross in Miami's impatient. Woody Johnson in New York's like, look, I'm tired of going to my club. I'm tired of catching shit from my other billionaire friends. I want to win. So they go all in. They go all in, and they say, okay, how do we win this? And they couch it as, oh, don't worry, everything's going to be fine for Zach Wilson. No, it's not. Zach Wilson's not going to be fine about this. Nor does it matter. I mean, Zach Wilson is the reason they're doing it. So, for me, it's all in is when you decide that, you're just going to try to make a run for the next 2 years. And in fairness, though, the NFL nobody has sustainability. I mean, Ron Rivera, the only reason he's coming back for his 4th year is because of the situation was so bad in Washington.
Agreed. That's
facts. If they would have had a normal owner and after 3 years, this is what we have, there would have been changes in Washington, but they don't.
No, agreed. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Nothing but gems on here. I mean,
Yahtzee.
In terms of navigating it, I do want to go back to Dallas real quick before we hit the next topic. I mean, one thing that they've been consistently crucified for, not the draft, Will McClay, Dom DeMarco for Will McClay as always. They've been crucified for the lack of consistent, knowledgeable moves in free agency. Actually, not the we like our guys. Like the whole Jason Garrett era was just littered with the right kind of guys. We like our guys. We're gonna be who we are. Let's trot out, and you know what that gets you? 8-8. 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. That we were littered in that because they didn't understand. No, we're not saying spend $5 billion in free agency, but you still need to make smart, concentrated moves to acquire guys that can help you now to supplement what you do in the draft. It's great. Gold star. You draft well every year, but you need to get impact players. And I feel like this year, Steven actually listened to Jerry actually listened to Steven. Actually, I'm not giving Steven any credit for this. He finally listened to Mike and Will McClay, who said, listen, we got extra picks this year. Let's go grab some guys. Before we're going to kill it in the draft like we always do, but let's grab 1 or 2 guys. We can do that without breaking the bank. So they get Gilmore, they get Cooks, and I think that they're better. I think they're better right now. I'm not saying that they're going to go undefeated, but I think if they go 12-5 again, I think they're a better version of 12-5 going into the tournament this year. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I think their offensive line is a little bit of a question mark. I think you got to be worried about that, but and I think when you break them down without Zeke there and trying to force Zeke into the game, I think Zeke is really somebody you want on your team. He's a tough guy. He's a great leader, but his juice in his lower body was going. He's not even signed to a contract now.
Agreed. Yeah, true.
So Pollard, they need somebody to go with Pollard, but they are. And I think the way they tried to run their offense, I think it was not conducive to their defense. If they play 28 minutes of defense with that defense, they'll be really good. But when the wear and tear of the defense gets going, I think Gilmore will help them tremendously. Cooks is a good player. You wish Cooks was better with the ball in his hands as a runner, but he's still a good player. And they got Houston to pay some of that salary, so that helps them.
Agreed. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Did you like the Deuce Vaughn pick in the 6th round? Do you think him coupled with Pollard, or do you think they still need to grab somebody in free agency? How do you feel that tandem's going to work?
They're probably going to get a veteran, because the problem with young rookies is you can't put a rookie running back on the field that doesn't know how to protect.
Agreed.
So
Don DeMarco for that, please.
If he can't protect, it's hard to get him on the field. And I think that's really the problem with young guys. Now, maybe he can come through. It's early yet. We'll find out. But there's always gems in those rounds of running backs. You can always find those guys.
Agreed. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna hit one more, and then we're gonna do some rapid fire. Um, we'll bring it on home with this: the hiring process in the NFL. It's come under scrutiny. I've heard you on the GM Shuffle and throughout the various news outlets talk about the Brian Flores situation and coaches of color and just the overall process together, the cronyism, the nepotism, you name it. And again, this is no shot against you. Your sons are in the league. They absolutely deserve to be there. If they're learning under you and your knowledge and your background, which is absolutely gold star all the way around, they deserve to be there. But in terms of others who find themselves in positions that they might not really deserve, or people of color having still a difficult time breaking down the wall in terms of getting head coaching positions, what the overall process of hiring an NFL coach right now in 2023, how would you surmise that right now?
Well, I mean, it's not a hiring process, it's an elected process. It's not nobody's selected; they're elected. And so, I think, to me, and I've been preaching this since I wrote Gridiron Genius, I think, to me, the NFL does a really shitty job of teaching leadership. I think it's one thing to know the X's and O's. It's another thing to understand how to lead men. And that's something that's not taught, nor when your mama lifts you from the crib, you have it or you don't. Leading men, understanding how to handle men on a global scale, understanding the big picture of the game, those are hard things. And I don't think we do that. I think, to me, I've said this, I would have a Jim Brown leadership school up in upstate New York, buy a bunch of property up there and bring in all the minority, female, women, men, everybody, and teach leadership. Don't teach football. Teach leadership, because if you can lead and football, that makes you a great football coach. The Army doesn't teach Army, they teach leadership. The Navy doesn't teach boats, they teach leadership. And if we would teach leadership, we would have more of a balance in terms of that. Instead, guys go in for an interview and they don't handle the interview well, he can't do it. Well, he's never really been coached on how to do the interview. He doesn't understand leadership. He gets in that interview and they start talking about what are you going to do on 3rd and 7 in this situation. That's not leadership, right?
No.
What are you going to do when the schedule comes out? Well, I'm going to look at it. No, here's what we're going to do when the schedule comes out. We're going to figure out what teams we got to practice during the training camp, because we know that during the season we can't get ready. If we're playing Philly in October with their six-back offense, we can't simulate that in practice during the week. We got to practice it in training camp. Okay, we got a Thursday game against a team we never played against. We got to game plan them here. There's stuff that you got to learn about how to do the job that nobody's teaching that. And one of the reasons we started the Daily Coach was because we felt like everybody needs a coach. Guys get these jobs. Shane Steichen gets a job. Who's coaching him? I mean, who's helping him? Chris Ballard has to help him, but somebody needs to help him how to be a leader, how to talk to people. What's your first talk to the team going to be about? Is it going to be about, everybody's welcome here? No. Are you going to be about, hey, this is the certain kind of player we're looking for? Either you fit that or you're gone. And so there's a lot to learn, and I think that's where we really find it. Mike Tomlin, when he went into Pittsburgh, and Mike Tomlin can lead anybody.
Agreed.
Mike Tomlin got the Pittsburgh job not because he knew how to play Tampa 2. He got it because he could lead.
Facts, big facts. Round of applause for Mike Tomlin, one of the best of the best. And you mentioned Mike Tomlin again, and we'll wrap here on this point. Maybe get one more point in before we get to the rapid fire. I mean, listen, I've said this and I've gotten on this soapbox on this show and in every circle when people ask me, "Oh, why do you think Dallas hasn't won?" I'm like, because can you name me a competent coach they've had after Jimmy Johnson? Barry Switzer got the job because he was Jerry Jones's drinking buddy. Chan Gailey got the job because he was also Jerry Jones' drinking buddy. Wade Phillips got one of the most loaded rosters the Cowboys ever had because Jerry Jones knew his dad. Jason Garrett is still laughing.
It isn't really the drinking, it's I can control you.
That too.
It's really about you're going to do what I tell you to do.
Agreed. Down the
I just don't. I won't wear the whistle. But I'm running the team. It's my team. It's all ego. It's like I said to you earlier in this pod. Do you want to win or do you want credit?
Because you
Can't
can't
have
have
them
both.
both.
Agreed. 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 Do you think that's still in place right now with Mike McCarthy?
Oh, I think it's definitely in place.
Down to Marco.
Down to Mongo.
Oh man, I mean, listen, I think that I think the offense will be better without Kellen Moore. I'm with you on joystick. You know, a lot of Cowboy fans felt the same way. It's like, bro, it's 3rd and 5, and games on the line. Why are you throwing a deep Hail Mary triple option why are you doing that? Why are you running 3 comebacks into cover 3 when your quarterback's having problems seeing the field? Why aren't you running the ball more? Like the pace of game, like you said, the pace of play, he had no clue about that. Even with the highest rated offense in the NFL 3 years running, that doesn't mean anything because it's kind of like basketball. Think about this. I want you to think about this point. Mike D'Antoni puts up 150 points a game with the Phoenix Suns. Why can't Mike D'Antoni why did he never win with the Suns in the playoffs? Because every time he ran into Greg Popovich, he cut the game in half and was like, we're not playing run and gun. We're going to play half court basketball. And you guys don't have a true big. We're going to punish you inside with Duncan. We're going to move the ball, and we'll beat you in 6 games, maybe 7 games if we need to. That happened every single time with the Suns. There's a reason why they never won a championship. I saw Kellen Moore as Mike D'Antoni Moore. Give me a Ric Flair for that. That's what I saw. And that's a big reason why it didn't work and why he's not with Dallas anymore, and why I think they are upgrading offensively at least. And how do you feel about it? Do you see it the same way?
Yeah, I mean, I think to me it's all about to me every game's different, and you got to sit there and say, how do we have to play this game to win the game? And what do we have to do on offense to win the game? What do we have to do on defense to win the game? You know, do we have to play from it? You know, we want to play Philly. We want to play from in front. We want to make Jalen Hurts a drop back passer. Okay, so our first drive of the game is the most important drive. We got to get ahead. You know, we got to play from in front. You know, it's how do you set up the game? Basketball coaches do a better job of it than football coaches.
Agreed. 100%. Down to Marco, 100%.
Down to Mongo.
We'll wrap here. Round of applause for Michael Lombardi, as always. We're going to do a quick round of rapid fire. This episode of Rapid Fire is brought to you by the GM Shuffle, as well as the Lombardi line, as well as the fact that Michael Lombardi is sitting here. It's brought to you by Michael Lombardi. So, Mike, we always do like 21 questions. Rest in peace to James Lipton. And I've tailored these questions, like I mentioned earlier, to just have some fun with it. You're a Jersey guy. I'm a Jersey guy. We're talking sports. This is life goals right here. So, Michael Lombardi, are you ready? Are you ready for that?
Let's do it.
Let's ride. Russell Wilson voice. All right. Mike, what is your favorite word?
Favorite word? Well, that's a great question. Favorite word would be yeah, that comes with a lot of. I got to give this some thought. More.
More. I like that. Simple but effective. What is your least favorite word?
No.
Yes, nice. In your group of friends, are you the one that's always late or the one that everyone brings their problems to?
Problems.
Of course. I mean, you were a GM. I'd guess that was the case. Biggest pet peeve?
Pet peeve, people on airplanes that rush to get on and then take forever to get off.
Give me a Dom DeMarco for that. I love it. Worst fear?
Height.
What is your favorite football player growing up?
Larry Brown.
Nice. Favorite football coach ever?
Vince Lombardi.
Nice. Wonder why. Favorite football memory while you were in the front office?
In the front office?
Yes.
Winning titles.
Oh, winning Super Bowls. Oh, man. Favorite Sopranos character?
Uncle Junior.
Nice. Favorite Sopranos episode? I already know the answer, but I got to hear it.
My favorite one is the episode where Uncle Junior goes to Dr. Kennedy and Carmela goes to see the shrink. I forget the name of that. I have it on my mind. It's season 3. And that's the one where he goes and sees Kennedy and Tony takes him to, and Bobby Bacala, they take him to it. It's not remember when. I have that on the brain, but that's my one. Season
All right.
2.
Oh, I was gonna say I thought I was wrong. I thought it was gonna be Paulie and and Chrissy, Two Pines,
And Pine Barrens.
Pine Bears.
You
I
know,
thought it was gonna be Pine
I
Bears.
love Pine Barrens. I love Pine Barrens, but I think to me, I love it. I love season 2, but I think to me that this one is really kind of. I got to get the name of it. I forget it sometime. Second Opinion, it's called.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
That's a good one. That's a good episode. Thank you, Marco, for that. That's a good episode.
I like this one because there's a lot of Junior in it, and when some things Junior does reminds me of my mother. Like when there's some great lines in this one when he says, "You say sign, I sign. You say take a crap on the deck of the Queen Mary. An hour later, they're hosing it down with disinfectant." I mean, but my mother was like that with doctors. If some doctor told her anything, she'd believe it. Oh,
I love it. I love it. A few more, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Sign. Best sports movie ever.
Hoosiers.
Nice. Best Italian restaurant in Jersey.
In Jersey, Cafe 2825 here in Atlantic City. Not close.
Oh, nice. All right, we're going there on me for after the interview.
Trying to get in. You better know some mob bosses to get in.
Either there or Peter Luger's on me. You got it. What quarterback would you build a franchise with tomorrow in any era?
Tom Brady or Joe Montana.
Nice. Goodfellas, Casino, Godfather 1, Godfather 2, or Godfather 3. You can only pick one, and the other have to go away.
1.
Ooh, good. Favorite snack?
Licorice.
That's a first. That is a first. Celebrity crush growing up?
Celebrity crush growing up. It was always a sports crush. It was, I loved Vince Lombardi. To me, it was him growing up. And I would say Springsteen too, because I was still young when he was big, when he was starting to get big.
Oh, nice. And last but not least, what is one job you think you would be good at if you weren't a GM/NFL insider?
One job I would be good at, I think I would be good at write. Well, I write, so I can't really say I'd be good at that. But I would have liked to have been a writer if I didn't do this. Just
Nice.
A full-time writer.
Nice. That was rapid fire. That was Michael Lombardi. Where can people find you, Mike? And then I'll bring it on home.
M Lombardi NFL on Twitter and Instagram. VSiN 10 to 12 on weekends. 12 to 2 during the week. And let me think. Well, the Daily Coach every day. Subscribe to just at the Daily_Coach. You get a message in your email box every day. So, yeah, those are the 3 things. But I appreciate you having me. It's always good to connect with you again.
Absolutely. And me, as always, U-Goboy88 on TikTok, IG, Facebook, u-goboy.com. We've got music, U-Goboy Music. Stream that on all digital platforms. We got a new video on the way. All the time. No, not all the time. Willie Beeman. Yes, Willie Beeman. Whole vibe. Thank you again, Mike, for coming on. Bravery Studios. Give me some round of applause for Bravery Studios. Round of
I
applause.
gotta get one more Ric Flair out of you, man. I mean,
Give me 10 Ric Flairs to bring home. 10. Give him 10. I want to feel like this.
There you go. I love it. I'll see you.
Yes.
Thanks, buddy.
This is the belt. That's the belt. We're out of here.
Care about the top 10, the top 5 of who the best is. Money straight, my fam straight. I'm George Strait, that's Texas. Angel wings on a Lambo. Praise the Lord, that's a blessing. Bentley truck like Lex Luger. Yeah, nigga, I'm flexing. I'm Richard Sherman, I back it up. Aunt your mama, I stack it up. Hey, Poppy, yo, Gotti. Swear to God, I rack it up. Still Jersey, that's all day. You go, boy.
Yahtzee.